Okay, so let me go to where we have, okay. I believe you can see my screen. Please confirm. Please confirm that you can see my screen.
Yes, we can. Yes, I can.
Okay, and you can hear me loud and clear as well.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
All right, thank you very much. All right, okay, let's begin. In the last class, we looked at the concept of negative indexing and the negative slicing. When we looked at we compared the normal slicing and the negative slicing, and we looked at that's the reverse, either negative slicing or the reverse slicing, which we gave a lot of practical cases here. Please, if you have not seen this video, please try as much as possible to get it on YouTube and go through it. If you have any questions, please get back to me. And in tonight's class, we're going to go straight to another concept of strings. Remember that I said that strings are characters that are inside the quotation. It could be double or single quote. Any character is actually a string as far as it's embedded in that particular quotation. Okay, so in the next thing we're going to look at a very important concept of strings, and it's going to be looking at strings are what immutable, the immutability of what strings. When you talk about immutability, it means in Python strings are immutable and you cannot change any part of a string. You can only assign, you can reassign, that means you can reassign the value of the string, but cannot mutate. So we're going to look at a practical example here. Let me just say, please mute yourself, please. Please mute yourself, mute yourself. Okay, so we're going to look at a practical example. We're looking at the immutability of strings. We said that strings cannot, any part of the string cannot change unless we try to reassign it. But nevertheless, in the course of this lecture, we're going to look at how we can actually manipulate it and find a way out by ourselves. So the very first example that I'm going to look at is I'm going to look at an example and I'm going to define a variable. Maybe say underscore hello. In this particular concept, I'm going to put the beginning part of programming, which is hello world. I'm going to just type in hello world, okay, hello world, and which is going to be the beginning of our string, and we're going to look at how we can find a way out and see the immutability of strings. So if I enter and I say underscore hello, I try to say underscore and I shift and I run this to bring out what I was supposed to have connected that. Sorry, supposed to connect your collab before it actually runs. So it's connecting by default, it's initializing and you're getting set. Please, okay, can see some persons have joined in. Okay, welcome. Please always try as much as possible to come to the meeting on time, please. It's very important. Okay. So it's okay now. It has showed hello world. So we want to look at how can we want to change the W here, and if anybody can tell me what is the index of W here so far, what you have done, what is the index of W and how can we call it out and say we only want W to come out as a letter or as a character. What is the index position of what W here? So what is the index position of W here? If you can put it in the chat box, it's very important. And you trying to figure out how you can make it work for you as well. What is the index position of W? Want to change the value of what of W, a small W, that is a lowercase W to an uppercase W. Please, what is the index of W in this particular hello world? Okay, index should be 6. Someone is saying index should be 6. Let's confirm from others. Please, if you agree, let's know if you agree. Please, it's very important that you agree or you say something. 6, Mark says 6 as well. 6 is good. Okay, everybody's saying 6 and it's actually wonderful that we are actually getting it. So let's get there and let's see what we have to do. What you want to do to check, we want to check the immutability of strings, and we're starting like a basic kind of thing. Okay, good. Say hello. This is what Mr. Oko has done is something that will just copy at once, and I'm going to test it in the on the collab, and definitely let's see what is going to happen. So we want to call out W here. We'll do the exact same thing here. And you can see W comes up. But what we want to do right now is to change this small letter W to a capital case, a higher case, that is a capital letter W. So how do we do that? We tend to do what? We write this, the same thing that we did here. We'll call it out and assign the next thing we want to change it to. We want to change it to what? To a capital W. So we're going to put it in a string as well and put it as what? Capital letter W, and see what is going to happen. Let's see if it's going to give us something wonderful. So you can see what happens here. It is a type error. str object does not support item assignment. That means in this particular image, because of the immutability of strings, it does not support it to do what? Change it from small letter to what? Capital letter. So it is a type error. So how do we fix it? The very question is, in this kind of conditions, if you are given this particular simple case, they will ask you, okay, how do you fix the error if you cannot mutate it, if you cannot change it? So the very first thing is always, I told you that you cannot change the value of strings unless you reassign it. So the very first answer you should actually tell the person is going to be what? You can reassign. That means I can decide to reassign the value of that particular variable. We can just decide to say hello equals to hello. When we get to the W part, you put a capital letter.
Mi ò rí ó ti fídíò yẹn ó ń late.
Please mute yourself, please. Okay, mute yourself. Okay, so what we're going to do right now is we have the very first thing we're going to answer is to reassign. It's actually the first answer you're going to do. So the next thing we're going to do is what we have been learning so far on the strings, how to slice and how to concatenate this thing to work. So the very first thing we're going to do, the second answer to our question is we are going to slice it. By the time we slice this string, we are going to do what? Concatenate it with what? A capital kind of letter. So how can we first of all slice this to give us what? We're going to look at hello. We are going to slice hello. And when we want to do what? We are going to slice hello. And we're also going to slice ORLD. We're going to slice hello and ORLD so that we are going to do what? By the time we are done, we are now going to bring in what? Capital W and concatenate. Remember, the process of concatenation is process of adding characters that was not there before in your definition of a particular kind of string or a particular kind of variable. So right now, we are assuming that we are going to slice hello and ORLD so that we can concatenate W into what? ORLD and make it to say hello world and the capital letter W. So the first question I'm going to ask is, how can we bring out just hello? First of all, how can we bring out just hello, like HELLO? How can we bring it out? How can we bring it out? Through slicing, what we have done so far. Please, let's see what you can do. How can we bring out just hello with slicing that we have done so far? How can we bring out just hello? How can we bring out hello, only hello that we want to bring out? Please just share something. I remember when I told you that coding is something that you do every day. You practice it, you go back to it and do it again and again. Please, let's see how can we get just hello And another person, if hello is too difficult for you, you can try how can we get ORLD only so that we can concatenate it and let's see what you have. Please try something out by yourself. Try it out, please. If you have not gone through the videos, go back again and look at it. How to slice is a very important data science tool. Sorry, data science technique that you're going to use. Okay, Mr. Soto said, say hello, this. Okay, let's try it and see if it's going to work for us. Let's see, say hello. I'm going to copy. Remember that I'm working with the student directly. So at any point, so let's see if it's going to work. So you can see hello comes out here as what? Say hello. This particular one works for us very perfectly as we wanted. But at this particular point, I want it to be a space as well. Add a space to it because by the time we are concatenating, it's going to do what? Try and add a space right now. If you add a space, very good. Mr. Mark got it. Everybody here that did add to 5 got it right. So what I want now is hello with a space. Hello with a space. Let's give hello with a space. Right now, simply is going to be what? I know some persons will already be typing. So what we are going to do, hello with a space is simply going to be what? Instead of 5, is going to be what? 6. So by the time we run this, you can see that hello comes with a what? A space that we can actually add to other one. So what we're going to do now, let's put this in a variable. Let's put this in a variable. We can name it the first slice. So slice underscore 1 and slice underscore 1, we are going to put it in a variable and say hello. And this is the very first slice. And by the time we do this, this is our very first slice. And we can say slice, we can call it out and say slice underscore 1. Sorry, underscore 1. By the time we run this, it's going to bring out just the hello with the space. So the next thing we're going to do, let's see how we can. This time around, I don't need a space. And let's see how we can slice and bring in only ORLD. ORLD. How can we make that possible? How can we bring in only the ORLD? ORLD. Remember, we're trying to concatenate. We're trying to find a way to go around a particular string if we cannot have to mutate it or try to change the value. How can we bring in only ORLD? Please try something out. Please, it is very important that you try something out. If you are feeling lost in this particular class, the series of strings when we started it previous days ago is on YouTube. Go look at it, go through it again. Even if there's anything you do not understand, please get back to me. I'm always there. I'm always available to help you out. Even though it takes for me to host a private class with you at that particular point, I will definitely do that. So right now, let's see what Mr. Tosin has done here. I'm definitely going to copy it and let's see. Let me copy it now and see what we're going to do. Let's see what we'll have. So right now, Mr. Tosin, we're only having RLD here. So let me go and check another person's code. Let's see, someone else is typing. Please, let's see what you have. Okay. Emedion has said, say hello. Let me go there and let's see what. I'm copying our code immediately. Sorry, I'm copying our code immediately and I'm not wasting any time. So let's go there and let's see. Let's run this. So ORLD comes up for us. So it's working very well for us. Or is anybody else that wants to try? Well done, Miss Emedion. Well done. So let's use these two things that we have gotten from our students. Let's use this one. Let's define this as. Please let's define this as slice 2. Let's define this as slice 2. Slice underscore 2, and we equate it to a variable and said this is our second word slice. So what we are going to do now is to concatenate these two variables that we have defined as slice 1 and slice 2, and we're going to we're going to do what? Add the capital W, since we wanted to change the value of what? The W from smaller case to what? An uppercase. So we're going to do what? A new variable, and we're going to concatenate it for us. So we're going to say underscore hello underscore new. Remember when we said that this thing should be descriptive enough? So by the time we do this, we are defining another variable, and let's say slice underscore one. We're referencing a variable that we have done before, and plus, and what are we going to add? We are going to add the capital what? W here. By the time we add the capital W here, this is, remember when we did concatenation, plus here is trying to show when plus is used in string, is always used as concatenation. That means bringing two items together, two or more items or characters together. And in this particular one, we want to bring in the slice one, the capital W, and the slice two. And we keep a space here and add another plus, another plus. Since, okay, don't worry, I'm going to get to that part. Slice underscore what two. By the time we call this particular variable name here, and let's see what we're going to have. Remember that if this slice one and slice two were another kind of data type, if it was not a string character, we could have had to do what? Cast it to what we had wanted. So since all of them are strings, it means that the slice one is hello with a space, and slice two is ORLD, and W here is also a string. So what we are going to do right now, we can decide to run here and call it out, or we can just enter here and say underscore hello, and I can just decide to use here. If I run this now, you can see very well it works for us fantastically as we wanted. So you can see hello world. So you can see it's working for us as we had wanted it to work for us. So at this particular point, please, I would like to ask if you have any question. Yes, Mr. Tosin, I believe this particular one you have dropped now, say underscore hello 7 colon to the end. It means it's also going to work for us as well. So it's actually correct as well. But it may don't use the reverse reverse slicing to make this happen. So what you are going to do, is there any questions right now? Let's see. Please, if there are any questions, please let me know before I go into another interesting concept on the topic of strings. Is going to be the string methods. There are different methods that has to do with strings. Instead of going through all this stress, there are certain methods that we can use strings to do. Please, if you have any questions at this particular point, please ask me now. Please ask me. Please, if there are any questions, please ask me right now. Okay, so I can proceed. Can I have permission to proceed? Please, if I'm to proceed, you can raise up your hand or give me a thumbs up wherever you are. Should I proceed or should I wait? Please, wherever you are, I need a thumbs up to make sure that I just put continue. You can put continue in the chat box. You can say anywhere. I just need permission to carry on. Okay, Mr. Sunday, I said I should carry on. Please, any other person? I need 2 or 3 persons to confirm that I should move on, to know that you're actually in the class. Some persons, okay, some persons could actually be in this class, but they are not in the class. They can actually be online, but they are focused on something else. This is an online meeting, so anything can happen. Anything can definitely happen. So, okay, good. So permission to carry on, and I'm carrying on. Next step we are going to do right now is the strings method. So there are lots of methods that we can use in strings to try to make our coding much easier. The very first one I'm going to use is definitely the upper. And I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to go straight to the code. Guys, please just excuse me for 2 minutes, maybe some seconds. Let me pick a call. It's very important. Yeah, sorry for that. I had to pick up that particular call. Sorry for that. There is audio, Mr. Mark. I just took a permission to fall out for some time for to just attend to something very important. So right now, please, the next thing I'm going to go into is what we call the string methods, and the very first thing I'm going to look at is the upper. Please, what I'm going. Okay, let me confirm that you can actually hear me. First of all, since I came back. Mr. Mark, I want only Mr. Mark to talk. Mr. Mark, can you hear me now? Mr. Mark, can you hear me? Oh, okay. Can anybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Sorry. Okay. Now let me continue. Maybe it's network. Okay, let me. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm just going to run the code and I'll ask you what it's doing, what the particular strings are. I can call anybody at random. So let's see. We're going to run the code. So let me define a variable word, and I just say equals to, let me say computer, all of them, I'm putting them how it is. So by the time I say I've defined a variable word, and the next thing I'm going to do right now is I'm going to create another cell. And by the time I do this, I decide to say this particular word I've defined dot what upper. By the time I do this and I run this, and let's see what it's going to have. So you can see the computer that is here this is how it is showing. Please, what is it doing right now? Mr. Tosin, what do you think is actually happening right now? Mr. Tosin, can you hear me? What happened? What just happened now? What is that method? What is that particular string method doing right now?
Change case to upper case.
Yes, it changed case from what to what to an uppercase. All of them are what? Capital letters. I know this might seem very basic, but it's very, very important that we get to revise this and know what it's doing. So the next one we're going to look at is, we can see use that particular name and say, remember that when you are defining a variable, Python does this, it comes from the top and comes below. By the time it comes below, it's going to override any particular variable that was defined before. If it has the same name, it's going to take in the new one and continue with the code. So let's just use word again, and we'll put it as what? Put all of them as capital. You can just use learning. And by the time you decide to run this code, and the next method I'm going to look at is what is going to be I'm going to put the word dot lower, lower. And by the time I make this, see, all the capital letters here will definitely change to small letters. So those are the two strings method I have brought out right now. So the next one I'm going to look at is the strip. The strip. I don't know if someone has ever heard of the strip methods before. Strip, strip. Please, someone is saying you can't see my screen. Mr. Funso cannot see my screen. Can anybody see my screen? So confirm if it's a network problem.
Yes, I can see your screen.
Okay, good. Thank you very much for the response. Please, there is a method on the particular in this string that I want to share. I don't know. I want someone to maybe just say something, and it's the strip method. Who can tell me what it does? It's a strip method. Strip, strip.
The strip removes all the white spaces.
Okay, strip removes the right spaces. Okay, are you sure it removes only the right spaces?
It removes all the spaces. It
removes all the
spaces, yes.
Okay, very good. So let's see, we're going to see a practical example. So the strip method removes the space characters at the beginning and the end of the string. So let's define a variable and let's see practically. I want to confirm if Mr. Funso can see my screen right now. Please, Mr. Funso, can you see my screen now?
Not yet. I think it's my network, so I'm working on that.
Okay, good. So let's go to the strip method and see how we can make it work for us. So let's create a sentence. Let's just say let's create a variable name sentence, and then I said, okay, let's give space, and let's say this is a sentence. Okay, this is a word, a sentence, and we decide to put a full stop here, and also continue keeping space, and let's see what is going to happen. And by the time we click enter, okay, let me just run this. Let me just run this, and let me say sentence s dot strip, strip, and by the time I run sentence dot strip, and let's see what happens here. Let's see what happens here. You can see this is the sentence. All these spaces are what have gone out from the left, the beginning, and the end of a particular string. Someone might ask me, what about the inside of the string? This is also a character on its own, but it's because it's looking at the characters from this T to the one at what on the full stop. So that's how we can actually make it work for us. So let's see something. Let's see something. Let's see something else. Let's see something else. And someone will maybe will find a way to Google this out wherever you are. I think we have been saying a lot of things already, and I've not really made you guys. Okay, yes, I know the assignments I gave you had to Google out some things, but let's see what happens here. Let's see what happens here. Let's see what happens here. And someone can actually explain. If you can, let's see what happens here. Let me define a variable text, and I do something like this. It's very important in data cleaning, or when it comes to when you are trying to use Python in maybe trying to scrape some data out of a particular site, and you have unclean data and you want to do something out. So let's see something here. Let's define something inside a string. Let's say hash, we put at, and we say, let's say gmail.com, and after that we put at again, and we put what hash, and we want to strip this. We want only gmail.com to come out. We only want gmail.com to be the output of this particular text once we call it out in the next time. So what are we going to do using, yes, we are still going to use strip, but something must be done for us to remove the hash and the at. We only want the gmail.com to come out. What are we going to do? Let's go into brainstorming. You can search on Google right now, wherever you are. Search on Google, search any way you want to do. I'm just giving you just 2 minutes to figure out something out. Let me give you hints. There is something that's supposed to be inside that bracket. There is something that is supposed to be inside the strip bracket. For example, you do text.strip in brackets, definitely. Something is going to be inside the bracket. Some things are going to be inside the bracket. What do you think is going to be, and how can we make it work for us? So I'm just giving you 2 minutes. This is 9:04 GMT +1 Nigerian time, West African time. So wherever you are joining us, just 2 minutes from now, let's see what you can come up with. You can go. I permit you to go on Google to check it out. Any way you can check it out. Let's see how you can make it work for you. All right, your time starts now. You're already 9:05. Let's see. If you know, it's just, you can raise up your hand. If you cannot type in on the chat box, you can raise up your hand, and let's see what you can come up with. Just 2 minutes. Let's see. It's very, very important that you know how to do a whole lot of things. This is a very practical example of data cleaning. It may seem simple, but this is something we can actually do. Okay, someone is typing. Emedion Namke is typing. Let's see what she has for us. Is there anybody that is still typing? Someone should be typing. Someone should be Googling. Check it out. You are permitted to Google. Even as professionals that we are, trying to get there, and we are also doing things, we still Google things a lot. There is a task that can come in a particular at the office. We are all Googling. So just try and check it out. The most important thing is you know how to Google, what to Google, and how to make it work for you, and understand the codes that in which you are bringing in. So please, let's see what you can come up with. We only want gmail.com to print. Okay, I think 2 minutes. 2 minutes is almost done. Anybody, guys, how far? Okay. Let's see. Emedi has dropped something in the group. Let me copy. I'm going to copy directly, and I'm going to paste it here, and let's see what we have. So this is what she has told us to do. Let's see how it's going to come up with. Oh, fantastic. So this is what has come up, and it is showing gmail.com only. Well done, Emedion. Well done. Was there any need of putting the comma? Just try it anywhere you are. Try it out. There was no need of putting the comma as well, because we're only targeting the hash and the @ symbol. Okay. All right. I don't think so. Okay. So let's see what we let me remove this. Let and let me run it again. So you can see it gives us the same thing. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is, what if we only want to strip things from the left-hand side only? We only want it to be at the left-hand side. How can we make that possible? If we only want it to be at the right-hand side, how can we just strip things only on the right-hand side of the text? And how can we strip things only on the left-hand side of the text? So let's see how we can make that possible. Let's see. Okay, someone is already typing. There may not be any need for me to do that. Let's see if someone already going to. Okay, Dr. Kweyemi is typing. Please. Okay, let me just go straight. So what we're going to look at is the L strip and the R strip. The L strip does what? The L strip removes the spaces, characters at the beginning of the string, and the R strip removes the space characters at the end of the string. So right now, I will just do something here. I might decide to say something like this: text dot. I can decide to say L strip. I can decide to use L strip. Someone wanted to type something. Someone was typing something. Oh, fantastic. Okay, Dr. Okwebe has already done exactly what I had in mind. So let me just copy his code. I like what the students are doing. So let me just delete my own. My own is not important for now. The students' own are important. So Mr. Dr. Okwebe, please, can you tell me what this actually does? What is going, before I print the output, what it will do?
It will strip the character from the left hand side.
It will strip the characters of only hash and @ at the left hand side. Okay.
Yes. But if you run it now, it won't run. The variable name is wrong. Add E to the test.
Okay, very good. Well done. So let me see what is going to happen. So you can see right now the left side of the string that had the hash and the @ has been removed, and it's only @ and hash is still available at the right hand side. So if we decide to change this from L to R, and we decide to run this, is definitely going to do what? Give us the outcome to be at the hash and the @ will do what? Definitely go out. Please, there's no need of this comma. If there was comma on the Gmail, that's when it will now work. Since there is no comma, it automatically sees, it doesn't see, so it will not throw an error. But on some different, maybe on PyCharm and the rest, it could actually throw an error, because at this point you did not see. It depends on the code editor itself. So let's see how it does. You can please, if you understand the strip, the L strip, the R strip, please just know. If you have any questions, you can always ask me. If you do not have any question, permission to go ahead, permission to carry on. Please, if you do not have any questions, please give me the permission to carry on. The next thing I'm going to do is Okay, please permission to carry on. If there are no questions, let me know. Or can we stop here tonight? There's a particular method I also want to use.
You can carry on.
All right, okay. So the next thing we're going to the next method we're going to look at is the format method. It's the only function of the format method is to decorate the strings with variables. We have used it before. You are looking at it again and again. Is the format word method. So it's simply going to be more of like a revision to most of you, even though I did not do it like officially. So let's define three variables. We can just say A equals to, I'm going to put in a string. I can decide to say Python, and the next one I press enter. I can decide to say B. I can decide to say data. Okay, let me use capital letters. Data. I can decide to use data, and I can use C. I can also decide to say definitely it's going to be science, data science. So by the time we want to bring these two together, it decorates the strings with variables. So let's see what we can actually do with the format method, and we'll stop here for tonight. So let's see. Let's define another variable that can bring in all these other variables together. So let's see. Let's say we just want to say arguments, or we can just decide to just say text. You can just decide to use text. Remember, Python overrides the other ones and say, okay, so text equals to, let's bring in the format method here. We're definitely going to start with a string. And first of all, remember how we use, Mr. Dr. Femi asked this question. He said, if we decide to start with 1, is it going to work? We found out that night that it actually does not work until we have to start with 0. So we use a curly bracket to reference the variable we have defined, and which is always starting with the 0. And we can decide to say we want to put in maybe a dash sign, and we are decorating it and say the next one we want to put in the 1, and we can decide to keep space and put in the 2 as well. And now said, okay, now we are through with this particular string. We put dot format, and this dot format is going to take in the 3 variables in which we have defined the 0, 1, 2, which is A, B, and C. So A, comma B, comma C. By the time we run this particular text, we then click enter and put text, we are calling it out, and we run it, shift and enter. You can see it's going to bring in Python data science. So you can see exactly what we want, and this is what the machine, the format method in Python, exactly what we want to do. So I don't know if you actually understand what is going on. So before I end, I think we just have some few minutes left. Let me just add something. I just want to feel like I should add something. Let's see what we can do. The next one is going to be the find method. How can we use the find method? So the find method is simply to do what? It looks for character or string inside a string. If it finds the first index, the first index will come out, and if it doesn't find, it's going to be minus. So I don't like talking too much. Let's just go straight to the point. Let's define a variable word. Let's define a variable word and say window. Define it as a string character and say window. By the time we define window, and here we said, okay, let's call out the word. Definitely is going to be so let me run this as one. Let me go to another cell. By the time I run word and I say word dot find, what are we finding here? Let's find a particular letter. Let's say we want to find W, and remember that it is case sensitive. It is case sensitive. So by the time we run this, you can see it returns the index of 0. It returns the index of 0. So now, let me try to get something here. Let me try to understand. So if it doesn't find, it's going to be okay. So word dot find. Let's see, guys. Please pay attention on what I'm going to do. Word dot find here, and I'm going to put in 2 characters here. I'm going to put in 2 characters here, and it's going to be IN. It's going to be IN. So before I run this, what do you think will be the outcome of this particular code? What do you think it will be the outcome? What do you think will be the outcome?
I think it will be an error.
Okay, someone saying it will be an error. Mr. Emmanuel was talking, but I cannot hear him. Maybe his network is bad. So what do you think will be the error? So let's see. Let's run it and see. So it's returning just 1 because that is the beginning of where that particular word. If you look at WINDOW, is what the I here is going to look at just the very first index, the starting word index of that particular 2 letter that you put in there. Okay, so let me give you something that is very, very. When I mentioned something like this, I said if it doesn't find, if you use the find method and if it doesn't find that particular character, it's going to return -1. So let me go to a practical examples. Let's see word dot find, and please guys, let's just tell me any character that is not in window right now. Let's see any character that is not in window. Any letter that is not in window, don't want to just give me, let me type it here. Anyone?
X, letter Y.
Y, okay, let's use Y. I heard Y loud and clear. So by the time we run this, you can see because it is not there, it is showing what? Minus what? Y. So anyone that it finds and is not in that particular text is going in that particular string of characters or sequence is going to return as what? -1. With that, I would like to say that actually this is the end of tonight's class, and I would like to tell you thank you for joining in, and if you have any questions, please ask me right now. Please, any questions? Okay, with that, we'll come to the end of tonight's class. Please, if you do not have any questions, the next project will be, please, I'm begging you in the name of God. I'm begging with all amounts of begs, right? Like I'm pleading. The next project will be something else. It will be more advanced. It will be something that is more practical enough, and we'll be using, as you're building your app, as you're building on that project, you'll be making use of the internet. You'll be referencing certain things, libraries online, and you put it inside your code. So it is going to be a very wonderful one. So if you have not been serious on your strings and everything that we have done so far, please go back to the YouTube videos, look at it again. I would love you to be in this particular programming journey with me to the end. I'd like to see you guys at the end of this particular Python course. Trust me, if you go through this Python course, learning every day, practicing every day, doing all the assignments and projects, you are just a step ahead for changing the lifestyle that you had before. Just keep on learning. By the time you get into data science, my dear, Python will be so easy for you. You'll see it practically, and you will so much appreciate it. So the next project will be very, very, it will need more of you. So at this particular point, I would like to say I'm stopping the recording, and